everybody, and welcome back to Smith Party of Six. I'm Audriana Smith, and today we're going to talk about read alouds, specifically how to get your children built up to the type of read alouds that you want them to be engaged in and interested in. We all know that really good literature is important for our kids, but sometimes we're kind of bombarded with fluff. And it's not that we can't read books to them that are fun and interesting for them, but it's also good to have really good literature and to have them actually enjoy it. So when I started out last year trying to read certain books to my kids, for example, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, it did not work out. So we really needed to kind of take a pause and try again at some other point. Sorry if you hear kids in the background, that's real life. So I recently wrote a blog post about this, so if you want to check that out, I will leave the link for it down in the description box. I go over all my tips there for you guys. Today, I really want to focus on the biggest ones. So for us, the biggest thing was that we needed to build up to the types of books that I was wanting to read to them. You may need to be patient, and it may kind of derail your expectations for a little bit of what you were wanting to do, but it really, really is important to build up to that point with them. It's taken us a year to really get to where I wanted to. We were able to read through The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe this time, and it went really, really well. They understood, and more importantly, they enjoyed it. And that's really the goal. We don't want to just be reading these books to force it down their throats, right? We want them to enjoy good literature, to enjoy hearing it, to be able to picture the story going on in their minds. And so really there's a few things mentally that can help prepare them for that, which I go over more in the blog, really making sure that you're having good and kind of deeper conversations with them, not shying away from hard topics with them, limiting the instant gratification that they get from always playing on screens. Our kids do watch some TV every day, they get some TV time, but we don't do a whole lot of the tablets. They do have those for if we need to go on a big trip and they kind of need to have some time to be preoccupied with that. Also, we'll send it for like sleepovers with grandparents to kind of help them out. But other than that, they don't really get on their tablets at all. So you really want to limit that instant gratification, because that makes it to where their minds are just like buzzing and not ready to like slow down and really listen to larger vocabulary words and harder concepts being poured into them. They're not really getting the value from it because they're wanting something quick and easy. So really limiting that is something that helps them mentally. Making the time special. So, you know, having a special rug that you guys sit on for it, or piling all up on the couch and snuggling together during read alouds, doing funny voices, all these other things that can help make that time special. Another thing that helps them mentally is certain games that you can play that help to build their logic, which I talk more about that in the post as well. So all these different things that you can do to help prepare your child for that. But the biggest and number one thing is really to build up to it. That helped so much. Like I said, it took us a year, but we were able to get there. We just recently got through the Chronicles of Narnia and they really, really loved it. So I will show you exactly which books I used to build up to that point where they were ready for something like the Chronicles of Narnia. And we're only just gonna keep building from there. So the first chapter book that I actually read with them, and there's two of them in this set, is Treehouse Town from The Good and the Beautiful. If you've been on this channel for long, you know that we love The Good and the Beautiful. We don't necessarily use it for everything anymore. There are other things mixed in for us now, but I just love their stuff. I mean, first of all, it's right in the title that it's beautiful. They are, like, just everything from The Good and the Beautiful is gorgeous. And I'll just go ahead and let you know now, the other two books that I'm gonna show you are also, other three books are also from The Good and the Beautiful. I also really, really love USBORNE now. I haven't tried any of their chapter books yet with the kids for read alouds, but I have some on my wish list that I'm planning on trying out. So like I said, this first one is Treehouse Town, and it comes in a box set of two books. If your kids like the Magic Treehouse books, or if you like them as a kid, this is something that's going to be similar. It does take out that element of magic. So if you guys are a family who does not like magic, then these books don't have any of that in here. It's really wholesome. The parents are included, which I know is another argument sometimes against the Magic Treehouse books, is that they're hiding things from their parents. In this one, the whole family is included. There are some really wholesome messages in there, but it's still simple language. It's still very easy for them to understand. Sometimes I'd read a chapter and then they'd be like, "Mommy, can we do another one?" And so we do 2 or sometimes even 3 for a day. We got through these really, really fast. I also included some other like craft projects to go along with it, like them designing their own tree houses and things like that for it. So they had fun with it. Now, I will also say when we first started reading these, our one was still 3, I believe, and she sat through these with us. And that is true for every single one of these books. So I even started with a 3-year-old reading a read aloud like this, and she built up with us to every single one. And now at 4, she's sitting through the Narnia books and loving them. So you can do this with young kids too. So the next book that we read was New Boy in School from The Good and the Beautiful. We actually read this one to go with some of the things that we were learning in history, just about Black history in general. And the kids really enjoyed this one. It was a little bit harder than Treehouse Town because the Treehouse Town books are level 2B. So a kid who's halfway through level 2 could read these on their own. This one was a level 3, so it was just slightly higher, but still the language they were able to understand. There were a few words that they weren't sure on, but that gave us the opportunity to talk about it. For example, this book talks about integration. That's what it's all about. He's the new boy in school. So he is the only Black boy in their school at the time, and it's different than his other school. And so we were able to talk about something that in public school they probably wouldn't talk a whole lot about, at least for a little while. My oldest is in 2nd grade right now. So this was really good for us and a good conversation starter, and went along with other things that we were learning at the time. The next book that we did was Maria's Many Colors. Now it is a level 2 book, so technically it was a little bit down from New Boy in School, but I had purchased this one at the same time as New Boy in School, and the kids really liked this one. They were engaged in the story. They wanted to know what was going to happen next, and so they were ready for me to read it every day. It's a really good story. She works hard to earn something for her church, and I will leave it at that so I don't spoil too much, but it was a good book with good lessons in it. Then over the summer we actually started the Good and the Beautiful's history curriculum, and in it, for Unit 1, it recommends reading Boy of the Pyramids to go along with the Ancient Egypt unit. This book is a jump up from the last 2 that we just did because it's a level 6. So reading it on their own, they're not able to do it. Like my son is able to read those other books on his own. This one, not so much. So for me, this one was really a test to see, like, okay, are they able to grasp things even if they don't fully understand more of the words in it? Are they really getting it even though this is something that they wouldn't be able to read on their own? And they did. So it's a mystery, and they were so excited. They actually figured out the mystery before we ever got like to the end of the book. We were probably about maybe a little over halfway through, maybe even a little less than that, I don't know. And they figured it out. So they were so excited. They were engaged in the story the entire time. I was very, very impressed, especially considering with the last ones, there were some pictures. And with this one, there's not really any pictures going on here. So it's not something that I could show them for them to see what was happening. They had to be able to imagine it in their minds. And they did a very, very good job of that. So I was excited that they were able to do this one. So after they were able to do this one, that really showed me that they were ready to go ahead and tackle Narnia. So we went ahead and started with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I know that that's not actually chronological order in the story, and so Magician's Nephew is like the first one chronologically, but we went ahead and are reading through them in the order that C.S. Lewis actually wrote them. For this time anyways. I'm sure that we'll read them again, especially as Aspen gets older, because I want him to hear them too. but this is the order that we're reading them in for now. So when we started reading this, I did not know how it was going to go. Last year when I tried, it was really good the first day, and the second day it was like, okay, they're not really super into it. And by the third day, it was like, this is going to be like pulling teeth if I continue. So I went ahead and cut the cord on it and just chalked it up to they're not ready, so we'll go ahead and try again at some other point. And this time I was very, very pleasantly surprised to find that they were ready for it now, that they were engaged in the story. Like I said, all the way down to our 4-year-old Arwen. She completely understands what's going on in the story. She's engaged in it every day. We finished The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and have moved on to Prince Caspian. We're about halfway through it right now, and it's going very, very well. And just like with the others, I try to always incorporate extra projects to go in with it. So they paint certain things, or we'll make some sort of craft. In one, I had them like write letters. I don't actually remember which one that was for or what we did. I would have to go back through our stuff. But there's all sorts of different things that you can do to incorporate other aspects of homeschooling in with it and to help bring the book even more to life for your kids too, which definitely helps. So the last thing really that I want to say to you is just don't force it. If it does get to the point with your kids where you realize that a certain book isn't working, just put it down and try with something that's a little bit simpler, but that still has those values that you're looking for, or even though it's simple language, doesn't have to be just complete fluff with not any goodness there in it. The Good and the Beautiful library is a great place to find books that are good and beautiful. And I don't work with them whatsoever. I'm not an affiliate for them. I'm not a sponsor for them. I'm just a homeschool mom who really enjoys them. And like I said, we've started to get into USBORNE now too. Hey, Aspen. We've started to get into USBORNE now too. We have not tried their chapter books yet, but we have some of their other books that go along with unit studies and stuff that we're doing, and their books are so much fun. So I highly recommend that you check those out too, and I will leave links for both of those down in the description box. All right, you guys, but that's all I've got for you today. So be blessed, enjoy your time homeschooling your kids, and I will see you next time. Bye.